Hi everyone, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we did in our online class on Tuesday the 23rd of August. We revisited what we did the previous week, and that was finding out how our multiplication tables work. Pause the video if you need to think, how are you going with your multiplication tables? Now think about your division. Here's the division sign. We know it's a division sign because it looks like there's a little line there dividing two different things or separating them. Okay, think about how you're going. What can we do with numbers? Well, we can do division. There's the divide hiding up. That is the same as sharing equally between groups, thinking about how many equal parts or equal groups there are, splitting things into equal groups, how many groups of 5 in 20, say, and repeated subtraction. All of those ways are ways of thinking about division. I want you to look at this. Think about the connection between division and multiplication. Look at here, we've got 3 is the start, tells us 3 groups, but here's the 3 by itself. It looks like it's going to be an answer. Here's the division sign. It's opposite to the multiplication because can you see how the multiplication crosses and brings things together? The division separates and shares things apart. And that's called inverse operations, or for us for today, we can call them opposite operations. Now, look at the 12. That's at the start because we start with 12 things that aren't in groups. And we have to share them out to put them into groups. And we're going to take 12 things, share them into 4 groups, and each group will have 3. This is a bit different. This has got 3 groups and each group will have 4, but as long as you understand what division is about. Do you reckon that looks like 12? Imagine drawing a line to make groups because we're going to take 12 things, we're going to divide them amongst 3 groups and each group will have 4. So if you look at each of the groups, each group will have 4 things. So that's one way of getting an answer. Oh, this looks a bit different. Looks like 12 things, but we're asked to take 12 things and we're asking to share them into 4 groups. So each group will have 3. So we're working backwards a little bit from what we did with multiplication. Now we're going to look at repeated subtraction. So we start with 12. Imagine taking 4 away. Then we take another 4 away and another 4 away till none are left, because when you're dividing, you're starting with a pile and you're sharing it equally. Think of your lolly bag at a party. So that's another way of thinking about division. I've done that for you twice. Let's look at the fact families. Fact families are very important. Okay, there we're revising last week. 4 groups with 3 groups equals 12. 3 groups with 4 in each group also equals 12. But if we do the opposite and we share things out and give them away, we have 12 things put into 4 groups and each group has 3. Here we have 12 things. We've put them into 3 groups and each group has 4 things. That's division. I'm not going to watch this today. We'll come back to that. Now, remembering the idea of families, where if you go to a barbecue or a party or a picnic, you tend to see similar people because you're there with your families or friends. Numbers operate the same way. They hang about in fact families, and it works for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, even fractions. Well, there's one number fact, there's another number fact, and their multiplication. The opposite is the division problems. And you can see these problems all have the same numbers, even though they're different problems. Those are called a fact family. And we can use fact families to help us with a lot of maths. We're having a quick true or false quiz. Pause the video if you need to think. 8 things shared equally between 2 people means each person gets 4 things. True or false? Pause if you want to think. Well, I visualize first, and this is what I did. I visualized 8 things and I imagined that person got 1 and that person got 1. That person got, and I shared them out till there were none left. And yes, each person got 4. So that would be true. And it was true. Well done. Now think. I start with 4 things and I have to share it between 8 people. There are my 8 people. Will each person get 2? What do you think? Well, I gave 1 to that person, 1 to that person, 1 to that person, and I've run out. I think it could be false. Okay, so fact families, they have to make sense. You can't just look at the numbers and say they're a family, especially with division and subtraction. You have to think. So 2 divided by 8 is not doable. Oh, it is doable. I'll show you what. If you wanted to divide 2 things between 8 people, you would need to split these up. And maybe they could get 1 each, and that means I'd have to split them up again. But that's another math story to do with as fractions. Okay, the answer for this is false. You can't take 2 things, share it equally amongst 8 people, and everybody gets 4 things. Now, true or false? That's true. True or false? Take 15 things, share it equally between 3 people, and each person gets 5. True. I wonder if I could take 3 things, share it equally between 5 people, and get 15 things. False. And you visualize it. Start with 3. Here's my 3 things. Oops, a daisy. And I want to share it equally. Only 3 people will get 1 thing. It is not possible, unless I cut this up into very small pieces and get a fraction, that we can say that is, and it's a false statement. Now, what we also want you to do is go into Maths Bingo. I'll pop that in the email message, and choose the division to practice your division tables. And if you have your tables next to you and you use the fact family well, you should be able to practice that. And you already know about this, but this is my reward for you for watching this far. Bye. Thank you.